All right, I'm gonna try to keep this brief because I got other things that I want to get into, and I feel like I can't say or can't get things moving until I kind of set the table. Part of me is a little bit callous to everything that's been happening because it's been happening. So, I mean, I hear all the outrage, and I'm like, all right, we've seen this story before. We've heard the story before. We've seen the dead bodies. We've seen the whatever. You guys clearly don't care. Okay, so something is slightly different. A couple of weeks ago with Ahmaud Arbery hit me just a little bit different just because I like to go get out and run. And, I think that when I'm out running around on the street, I think that there's a certain level of freedom that you have there, which is really kind of funny now that I think about it. And seeing that young man chased down, hunted, gunned down in the middle of the street was disturbing. The fact that it had happened 2 months, almost 3 months earlier, was really, really disturbing. So the last week, 2 weeks ago now, was a little bit weird for me, and I think it touched me in a way that I didn't really expect it to. Fast forward to your girl Amy Cooper, which we've all seen that story before, heard that story before. It tells a very interesting story because I don't know Amy Cooper, but I know Amy Cooper. And that exact same thing has happened to me on multiple different occasions. Shit, one happened to me right before I left Rumble. Colby, whatever your fucking last name is, Landry or whatever, hashtag hard to kill. Yeah, apparently she's afraid of me. I'm like, I make her afraid of her, or she's afraid for her safety. Anyways, same thing, came in with some attitude. I told her what she could do with her fucking attitude, and sure enough, harassment. Ask her about it. So that touched me in a special kind of way. And then we all got to witness Mr. Floyd's death, the execution, whatever. And I've been cuffed. I've been face down. I've been pinned down. I've been jerked around by cops. I've been told to shut the fuck up. I've been called a nigger. I've been thrown around. So I could see myself I've been in that situation. The only difference between this guy and me is the fact that the guy that was on my neck decided that he wanted to get up a little bit earlier. That's a regular thing. It was a holiday. So I've gotten an opportunity to just hammer down a couple of things over the course of the last couple of weeks. And I was trying to figure out why this bothered me so much, or not necessarily why it bothered me so much, but just why this started to feel a little bit different. And I really needed to sit back and look and evaluate how I felt and what was going on around me. And I came to the conclusion that, this is going to blow your mind, that I've kind of been living a lie for my entire life. Now, bear with me. I was brought up to salute the flag and everybody is equal and land of the free, home of the brave and blah, 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 and all of these things. And I'm like, great, yeah, go America, American flag, go. Yeah, I'm with it. And I witnessed the first time my dad got jerked around by some cops, and the first time I experienced some racism and saw some racism, and then saw some more racism, and saw some more racism, and experienced these things firsthand. And along the lines, I'm thinking, man, that's messed up that that kind of stuff is happening. Door slammed in my face, the freaking backwards compliments, their backhanded compliments, the being, you know, kept out of things, like all of those things that people talk about, the Amy Cooper's situations. That shit happens, and it's been happening to me my entire life. My freshman year of college, I got pulled over 16 times in the school year. They were harassing me. They were fucking with me. They didn't want me there. So I'm going through my entire life thinking, why is it that all the things that should be, that they say that I'm supposed to have, I don't really have? So then I started looking up the, you know, definition of a citizen. And then I looked up the definition of a second-class citizen. And this is where shit got way more interesting. I'm going to put the definition of a second-class citizen here, but and we're going to revisit this whole second-class citizen thing, but I'm going to keep this short. Second-class citizen, if I start looking at how I'm treated and comparing that to the definition of a second-class citizen, it makes way more sense. I was never intended to have the same rules. I was never intended to be entitled to the same things. I was never intended to have property. I was never intended to be around. To be completely honest with you, I was part of a workforce that got left here that these people didn't think about how they were going to get rid of. So they decided, how else can we continue to make money from these people but keep them far enough away so that they don't bother us? So someone said it earlier. I heard someone about their contract, or the contract that they have with the United States, or the contract that we have with the society. And black folks never actually see what happens with the contract is that there's a negotiation, right? I'm going to offer you this and you get this. And if this doesn't work, then you come back with something and then you come to a middle ground. We've never been actually in a place where we can negotiate, ever. We've allowed or been in a position where some person who's had ulterior motives has been doing the negotiating for us. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to dip back into all of this a little bit later on, but I think what's being lost and what I'm not really seeing right now are solutions. Okay, I'm hearing outrage about this, and there's outrage about that, and there's outrage about this, but I'm not seeing any solutions. Okay, and explanations. For example, why does, after an officer in involved shooting, does he get 72 hours to come up with a statement? If I'm in a shooting and I'm in some sort of a situation and I'm at the scene of the crime, I have to give my statement right then, because it's fresh in my mind, it's evidence, I need to be there. Why do they give cops 72 hours to go home and get their story straight? So they baked in these little rules to keep them from being proven guilty when they clearly have been. The governor of Minnesota said something just today, basically giving some wiggle room, like, hey, well, there's some evidence that we saw that there might be something that we... If that's the way we allow the laws to be written, then let's change the laws. Let's start there. Change the laws. After an officer-involved shooting or anything, he can't leave. Can't leave until there's all the evidence is taken up. Oversight. How about we have a little bit of oversight? Any oversight. Give some young Americans some jobs. Your job is to be oversight for the police department because they can't police themselves. Change the punishments for some of this fucked up behavior, whether it be negligence or manslaughter, homicide. These fools need to go to jail and they need to see each other being fried for it. In addition to real oversight, because here's what I think will happen. A handful of guys are going to get fried and or go to jail, lose their jobs, their pensions, so on and so forth. They'll realize that people aren't fucking around anymore, and they'll slowly but surely stop doing it. I'll do you one better. In addition, how about we raise the salary for cops? $250,000, fuck it. But they need to go to school, like doctors go to school. No Joe Schmo off the street that doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do with his life should be able to fucking pick up a badge. Period. Go get your education, learn how to deal with people, learn how to solve problems, and then you become a peace officer. Change how we look at police officers. It needs to be a higher standard. You need to be a perfect human being if you want to deal with other human beings. No, there's no perfect human being, but we could do a better job of cycling and siphoning through the bullshit. Lastly, let's actually talk about some amendments that not only allude to the idea that men have the same rights, but African American men also have these same rights. Like, let's change it. If it's what it is, then why can't we write it into the Constitution? Because it's a little vague right now, and I can see how they slip us through the cracks. So if all men are created equal for real, like if that's something that you really, really think, then I think that what we need to do is make some adjustments. Now, look, you guys get shit done, right? Tax breaks, done. Bailouts, done. I need to know that if a police officer does something illegal, he's going to have to answer for it. That's all I want. That's all I want. And a fair shake. So anyways, way more to come. I didn't really want to have to do this way, but I felt like I couldn't do anything else until I got this off my chest. So more to come. Peace.